Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about, will they forget about you when you're doing no contact? So this video is about the no contact rule, and basically if your ex is going to forget about you during no contact and things like that. You can also work with someone that you may be doing no contact with that was a crush, that perhaps rejected you, or just basically it could have been someone that you even dated and it just sort of fizzled out and then you went into no contact with them. It doesn't necessarily have to be an ex. So the main point that I want to put across in this video, will they forget about you? And the answer is no, they're not going to forget about you unless they suddenly develop amnesia, because we don't tend to forget about people that fast, right? It may appear like they've forgotten about you, but trust me, they haven't forgot about you, especially if you were in a long-term romance with them or you had some kind of romance with them. I remember pretty much everybody who I've been on a date with, who I've had crushes on. I remember these people. I don't necessarily have feelings for them now at this time, but I still remember them. Like if a song comes on the radio, it may remind me of a time when I was like 17 and had a crush on someone or something like that. But you never forget about these people. That you don't just develop amnesia overnight and just forget about someone. So no, they haven't forgotten about you. But the thing is that whether they still have feelings for you and a connection to you is a bit different. Now, obviously, if it's a breakup that happened recently, then they still have a really strong connection towards you. They probably still have a lot of feelings towards you. Rather, if it's been like a few years, then maybe they don't have any feelings about you anymore. But they haven't forgot about you. They will never forget about you unless at some point in their life they do develop amnesia, or when they're old they get Alzheimer's and maybe they'll forget about you then. But they're not going to forget about you now if they have a healthy mind. We don't forget about people. We don't just... The memories don't just disappear, and that's just not going to happen. Okay, so they do remember you. They're not going to forget about you. Okay, so the next thing I want to get into is, if they care about you, they will eventually get in touch with you. They will eventually show themselves to you. It may be something like, they just reach out to you on Facebook. They may add you as a friend, or they may follow you on Instagram, or add you again on Snapchat, whatever it may be. You will hear from them. They will make contact with you again if they care about you, if they love you, right? But that's the big if there, because you don't know if they still have feelings for you, right? You may know, but a lot of people probably don't, are in that kind of grey area where they're not sure whether or not someone still cares about them or not, right? And it may seem like they don't care about you if you haven't heard from them in a long time. But the point is that if they do care about you, they will eventually reach out to you, okay? They will eventually say something to you. So I get a lot of people a bit confused with, certain things that happen on social media, like, what if they like one of my statuses? What if they like one of my photos? What if they watch my stories? Does that mean I can break no contact and reach out to them? And the answer is no. If you're doing no contact with someone, that means you have to stay in that forever unless they directly message you. Even if they add you on something, you don't want to message them, okay? You don't want to break no contact. It has to be them that contacts you. That means they phone you up or they message you directly. Comments, likes, watching your stories, them blocking you, them unblocking you, things like that don't really mean anything unless they have actually messaged you privately. So you've got to ignore everything until they directly contact you, and you've got to basically ignore everything else. And I would recommend as well not even liking their stuff or watching their stories or commenting on their things or retweeting them or whatever it may be that you could be doing or thinking about doing. Stop doing all of that. No contact means zilch. It means nothing, right? So no liking anything. It has to be them directly reaching out to you. And if you can't help yourself, if you can't help but watch their stories, which are very, very tempting, I know they can be, you have to, just mute them, or you may even have to block them for a little while. Or just get rid of social media altogether if you don't want to block them or do anything like that. Because if you can't help yourself, then it's not going to be, it's probably not going to end in the way that you want it to, basically, because if you can't help yourself, then you probably have issues with emotional self-restraint in general. You can't discipline yourself to not look at their stories and things. So, you got to be able to do that, basically, because if you don't have the emotional restraint to do things like that, then if, let's say, for whatever reason, you go out with your buddies, you get really drunk, if you don't have that self-restraint in you, then you are risking the chance of breaking no contact with them, calling them up when you're either overly emotional or you're intoxicated in some way. So you got to develop that self-restraint, that emotional self-restraint, and not contact them in any way whatsoever. That means no messaging them, no liking their stuff. It has to be, or watching their stories, it has to be them directly messaging you, and then you can respond to their message, or if they phone you up, you can answer that call and break no contact then. But it has to be them making all of the moves, especially when you were the one that got dumped and they dumped you. It has to be if it was their idea to end it, then it has to be their idea to come back. And the same goes for people that have rejected you. If it was their idea to reject you, then it's going to be their idea to reach out to you and unreject you and start something romantic with you. It has to all come from them. Whereas, if it was you that broke things off, if it was you rejecting someone else, then you're the one that has to sort of, make the first moves in that regard, if you haven't done so already. If you've already made a move on someone when you rejected them or dumped them, and they didn't reciprocate, that's not an excuse to message them and reach out to them again, okay? So you don't want to be waiting around for this person, though, and this goes into my next point, which is you need to start the process of moving on, because you don't want to be waiting around for someone who may or may not come back, because at this point you may not know if this person is coming back, if this person is going to break no contact with you. So if you don't know that, then you need to start the process of moving on, and give yourself time. And that's one of the main ways that you can heal yourself and move on, is giving yourself time. Don't go into a rebound relationship, or anything like that. Give yourself at least 6 months between relationships to heal, and get over it, and to grow, and to, focus on other things for a little while, because I think that's the minimum appropriate amount of time to, start getting over a situation where the feelings become less intense and you start to feel a little bit better about it, especially if it was something particularly heartbreaking for you, okay? So the next point I want to get into, and this is basically like a question that I want you to ask yourself is, and that is, do you really want to be with someone who doesn't want you? Because if they rejected you, if they dumped you, you got to realize that even if this person does decide that they want me in their life, and we do reconnect in some way, it's clear from what's happened is that, they don't want me, they don't want to be with me, they rejected me, they dumped me, it didn't end well, and do I really want to be waiting around for someone who doesn't want me? And, you obviously want to be with someone who wants to be there, and you shouldn't be wasting time on people that don't want to be there. Right? This is why I say don't wait for them, and try to start the process of moving on, because you don't want to be waiting around for someone who doesn't even really want to be there. And, it's better to be on dates, it's better to have relationships with people who actually want to be there. And that's not just the case with romantic relationships, but it's the same with friendships as well. You don't, and family member relationships as well. You always want to hang out with those people that genuinely care about you, that want to be there, that are enthusiastic about seeing you, that love you, that care about you. And if you are putting your attention on someone, it doesn't matter if they're a romantic connection or not. If you're putting your attention on someone who doesn't care, who doesn't really want to be there, who always seems bored, who always wants to be hanging out with someone else, who wants to leave, and it's a flake on you and things like that, and messes you around, you don't want to be with those people, because those relationships are really hard because it's one-sided, right? So you're the one that's always putting in the work, and they're never putting in any work, and they just completely take you for granted. You want to be with people, and that goes for romantic relationships, it goes for family relationships, it goes for friendships, that want to be there, that put in a mutual effort, that want to see you, that love you, that care about you, that will show up on time, that basically just want to be there, who are enthusiastic about you. Those are the people that you need and want in your life. And if you don't have anyone like that in your life, then you need to start seeking them out, because as human beings, I do believe that we need to be around other people. I think it's important for our mental health and for our self-esteem to be around people that love us and care about us, because people that seclude themselves, isolate themselves from the rest of the world, and don't have people like that in their lives are usually the most saddest, have the most mental issues, and they don't live as long as well. So if you want to live long, happy life, then find people in your life that want to be there, that love you, that care about you, that want to spend time with you. Okay, so that's my thoughts on that. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Bye guys.